Hello and welcome to the Hot Apple Cider Podcast. This is episode 3, and it's been a fantastic road. Quick update, we are now on Spotify. Actually, most of you probably know that because realistically, you're probably on Spotify as you listen to this. But for those of you that are on YouTube and that have followed us on YouTube since the beginning, you're seeing us right now. If you don't want to sit here for the entirety of a podcast, you don't necessarily need to watch us. You are more than welcome to go ahead and follow us on Spotify. There will be a link in the description. We are coming to Apple Podcasts soon as well, so keep an eye out for that. We'll probably announce that as soon as it's live on there as well. With me today, I have Ihab Sati. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yo, man, it's awesome to have you here. I've known Ihab for a very long time, and he's a wise individual. He has a lot of knowledge to drop. He has a lot of truth to say, and I feel honored having him on my show. Today, we are talking about the impacts of social media on your academic and professional career. In our last episode, we talked about the importance of post-secondary, and I felt realistically I could build on that with this topic, but also apply it to a broader audience by talking about the effects on your professional career as well and its impacts there. So we're going to talk about that today.
Let's do it.
I know you've personally got some things that you've done, some actions that you've put into play to help assist in your academic career. Let me do a bit of quick rapid fire here with you so that people can get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
So you are in school. What are you taking?
I'm taking business.
Business. Perfect. And what year are you in?
Third year university.
Third year.
Now. Yep.
Wonderful. So you got one more year to go basically after this one.
Yeah, hopefully that's the plan.
Okay, so let's talk really quick. Social media has been around for basically as long as we can remember.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, I was born a few months before Google existed, so the internet's been there for a long time.
Okay.
And over the years, there's been so many different social media platforms that have released.
Yeah.
And as soon as one releases, it either flops or it goes huge, or there's a delayed effect and it comes back.
Yeah.
But the top most recognized social media platforms right now, number one, no surprise, is Facebook.
Yeah.
They've held strong, and they've purchased other social media platforms along their way. They've held on to that. Second on our list was Instagram, which realistically I thought would have actually come out on top.
Yeah, I would have thought that too.
With the previous year of 2019 and social media trends, I would have assumed that one. This one was a shock. Twitter is still number 3.
Wow, I didn't know people use Twitter that much because that's actually the only one that I don't even have on my phone. I never even downloaded it on my phone.
To be honest, Twitter was huge at one point in time.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ones that made a comeback, like you said, because now all my friends, they're always on Twitter.
Realistically,
it's because the memes.
Well, that's what it is, right? And I mean, on top of that too, I feel like in the YouTube community, people will use Twitter a lot more to connect with their audience because it's a good way to send out their updates without having to have any direct friendship kind of deal with their audience. They could do it easily from their phone. I think it stayed a bigger deal in the UK than it did on our side of the globe, though. So based on my knowledge there. For LinkedIn, so that's your professional platform for social media. The big one that I wanted to talk about that came back, it actually came number 10 on the list. It's probably what's going most viral right now, which is TikTok. Which is insane because when you really look at branding, and that's something that I'd want to talk about on a future episode, with the proper branding, you're able to do so much. And sometimes you leave a sour taste in people's mouths with something, and you need to rebrand. Musically, it's probably one of the most hated social media platforms when it originally launched for the longest time. It was the most annoying ad that you'd ever see on your phone every time you load up something. And then next thing you know, Musical.ly is now renamed as TikTok, and it's going virally insane.
Going nuts.
It's amazing. It's wonderful what you can do with rebranding, and I just wanted to talk about that really quick. On average, people spend about 153 minutes a day on social media. That's about 2.5 hours of your day. That's a big chunk. After you take a look at the fact that you're probably spending roughly 8 hours of sleep, roughly 8 hours. Whether you're in school or you're at work, if you do both, now you're adding hours on top of that. You're gonna add in your hours for getting ready, your commute, your time that you spend eating.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of time left in your day, so spending 2.5 hours is huge.
Yeah.
Of course, it's only seconds or minutes maybe when you use it. Sometimes it can be hours or minutes straight through like a binge.
Yeah.
But it's insane how much we actually spend.
Yeah.
And it, like, I mean, obviously being in school, that's going to be like your easiest way to distract things.
Right. Yeah.
So you, in your case here,
Yeah.
being in a business degree that obviously requires a lot of professionalism.
Yeah.
How do you feel that impacts in? How does that, like, a weight of 2.5 hours of your day gone?
Yeah.
How does that weigh in?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like time, like I think social media is making us kind of not appreciate our time as much, because it's so easy to go on your phone and like expect to take like a 5 minute break to just like scroll through your feed or something for a few minutes, and then that turns into like 2 hours that you just wasted. And you kind of just don't look back after that. So I feel once you get used to that rhythm of like every day you're kind of just scrolling for like hours, then you stop appreciating your time because you forget or you don't realize. Like, I don't feel like people realize what the value of their time is anymore. Like, you don't see what else you could be doing that time. Like, instead of just looking at other people's pictures and stuff like that, you could actually be like reading a book, like a self-help book that might actually change like your mindset or something like that, or like lead to you doing something beneficial. Like, instead of just wasting time, because there's really no benefit that can come from you like just going through your feed or liking other people's pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. My biggest mindset when it comes to your time is, do you have a job?
Yeah.
Yes or no. If you have a job, how much do you make an hour?
Mm-hmm.
That's your hourly wage. That's what
Right.
1 hour of your time is worth. Now, obviously, you're not going to spend all your free time at work.
Yeah.
But let's say you make $20 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Your time is worth $20 an hour.
Yeah.
If you're not at work,
Mm-hmm.
you should be doing something with your hour that to you value, you
Mm-hmm.
find is worthy
Yeah.
of $20 an hour.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the best way to do it. So if
Yeah,
you're
that's
in
smart.
school, you should be doing what you feel like is worthy of your time. If
Yeah.
let's say you don't work, right? You're going for a specific degree.
Yeah.
You're working for that. Okay, what's the average salary that you would have
Yeah.
in that profession?
Yeah. Or even
And
you could look at it like how you could break down the cost that you pay for your courses that you take.
100%.
And you could be like, okay, this is how much I'm pretty much paying for an hour of a class. So
yeah, take it. I mean, like, realistically.
yeah.
And here we can do the calculation right now.
Yeah.
In my last podcast episode, we talked about it. It's roughly $30,000 by the time that you finish a 4-year university degree in Canada.
Yeah, that's like minimum.
If you want to divide that by, let's say you're 4 years, now you look at $7,500
Yeah.
dollars for that year, and then if you were to divide that over the course of 52, so that's how many weeks you have in a year, and
Yeah.
then divide that by 7 to get your daily.
Yeah.
So now you're at $20,
So pretty
in
much
the
same
day,
thing. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
realistically
Yeah.
isn't much, right?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to look at that, you may, by taking that approach, you might actually think that it's not really worth spending that much time in something,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that's when you got to take a look at opportunity cost.
Yeah.
What is the cost of doing something?
Yeah.
So you may look at it like, yeah, and you know what, realistically, that approach, well, no one's going to sit there and probably do that calculation. People are probably going, I mean, of course, you have to deduct the summers and when you're not there and your Christmas
Right.
and all that.
Yeah.
And that'll become more higher, maybe closer to the $80 to $100 range.
Yeah.
But even then, and I mean, if you split over 8 hours, I guess then it would come back down to about roughly $20 an hour, give or
Yeah.
take. But you want to do something that's worthy of your time. So if you're going to go into a profession that's going to pay you $100,000 a year, well, find out what that is worth hourly and
Yeah.
treat your time as such. So
Yeah,
if you're
exactly.
studying, take the time to study. If you're working a job, take the time to work your job when you're at work.
Yeah.
When you're at home and you're relaxing, spend time with your family. Do something that's worthy of your time. And that's the
Right.
biggest piece of advice that I think comes into play. Why waste it?
Yeah.
If someone could hand you 2.5 extra hours in a day, how much could you do with that? We all say that there's only a few more hours in the day.
Right.
The reality is, no, you don't need another couple hours in the day. You need to
Right.
learn to prioritize. You need to, when that first alarm goes off, get up,
Right.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Get on with your day. Why are you sleeping in for an extra 2 to 3 hours?
Right.
You're staying up late at night. Okay, but that's rise and grind. That's
Right.
the way it works. You've
Yeah.
got plans. You got to get stuff done. You choose to sleep in. You're not short on hours. You're short on motivation. You're short on drill.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
Everybody
gotta-
has the same 24 hours in a day. It's just how you choose to use them. You know?
100%, because
Yeah.
you got to know what is worthy of your time. How do you want to spend your time? You have
Exactly.
limited hours in the day, and you got to learn how to allocate it. Straight
Exactly, yeah.
economics right there.
Yeah.
You have limited resources, and you need to learn
How
how
you
to apply
allocate
it.
them. Exactly. Yeah.
100%. So I want to talk about you a little bit, because it seems like you have probably taken some thought into this, because you've actually made a few decisions. And from what I hear is your Instagram is actually currently deactivated.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Do you have any other social medias that you're currently on that are also deactivated?
No, like I said, I don't have Twitter. Like the only social medias that I have are like Facebook, Messenger, Snapchat, and Instagram. So Instagram was the first one to go down. Snapchat, I don't think I'm gonna take it down, but I'm gonna, because the whole thing with me for Instagram, the reason that was a big one for me to take down, was just because I kind of saw how kind of fake it is and toxic. Because I just look at it and it's just like, when you look at the amount of followers that you have, or the whole thing behind it is people always look for a follow back or whatever, because people watch their ratios and stuff like that, right? Which means you're not actually really worried about who those people are. You're more just worried about if the numbers look good to other people that check your profile. So when I think of that, it's pretty much come to a point where Instagram is literally just based around trying to impress people that you don't actually care about. And that's not, and I feel like people are sensitive, if you hear somebody say you don't care about them, it doesn't mean if you saw them in harm's way you just look the other way. That just means it's not somebody that you're talking to on a regular basis.
We don't need to know that Betty had a dog. Realistically, if you
Yeah.
got yourself a dog, Betty, that's awesome, but
Yeah.
that's not gonna change my day.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, I just feel and it's I don't know. It's one thing if you got something nice, for example, and you want to show the people that you care about. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. But it's you have to have a balance. So it's okay, but now if you have 1,000, say you actually talk to 500 people, those are people, if you saw them on the street, you would go over and talk to them, But you have an extra 1,000 people that are following you that are just people you'd probably not even stop and talk to. You'd be oh, I remember that person from that place or something like that, And you guys ended up exchanging Instagrams and you followed each other. So I feel those people, they don't need to, if you're trying to impress them, then that's kind of something we have to look into ourselves. Why are you looking for this satisfaction from so many other people, I feel that's something that we're missing in ourselves.
Share to the people, but share for yourself.
Ooh.
Go
heavy.
ahead. You can share whatever it is that
Heavy.
you want to share. You have moments in life, things that you want to remember.
Yes.
Put it out there. If you want to do that, you can put it out there. But do it for yourself.
Do it for yourself.
At the end of the day, you're going to be the one that's going to go back and look through your newsfeed.
100%.
I mean, maybe your crazy psycho ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, they may scroll through a little bit, see what you're up to, but at the end of the day, it's for you.
Right.
That's just what it is.
Right.
And I love so much of what you said, because the three big negatives, and I did a bunch of research. I went through academic articles, things like that. I wanted to make sure that I narrowed it down to the three biggest things.
Yeah.
And the three biggest negatives about
Yeah.
social media. And I think you touched on two of them. The number one, which is it is a huge distraction
Yeah.
to your productivity. It takes
Yeah.
up so much of your time, 2.5 hours a day on average,
Yeah.
that you could be so productive with. You could do so much with
Right.
that. If you had 2.5 hours of extra study in a day,
Mhm.
you'd probably ace that exam if you start a week before.
Right.
You have an extra 2.5 hours spent with your family, you're
Yeah.
going to notice your kids grow a little more.
Right.
You got 2.5 hours to work on a self-improvement course, or
Yeah.
to take or to read a book about
Yeah.
self-improvement, or a new trade, or to teach
Yeah.
yourself.
You
Spend
could learn a
2
whole new language if you went on Duolingo for 2 hours every day. You
by the
could
end of the month. Yeah,
you could learn a whole new language. You can learn 2 new languages every year or something.
entirely. It's a full-on capability
Yeah.
that you have that you can exploit, but you don't have the time for it because you've already wasted it.
Right.
A little minute there, a little minute here,
Right.
and it just continues. And the
Yeah.
second biggest issue with it was um, your reputation of yourself or your organization. And cyberbullying actually came into that. So
Yeah.
again, it's like you said, you're trying to impress people, but at the end of the day, some people you're just never going to impress.
Yeah.
And it's just going to come down to, and it's going to be more along the lines of people are going to bully you, or they're going to judge you, or they're going to say whatever it is, and it's going to get you. It's going to get under your skin. It's going to drive you crazy.
Right.
And you can't really get around that. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you try so much and you kill your reputation. You start posting things, start saying things,
Right.
you do things online. You think it's going to get you attention. It's going to make you famous or whatnot.
Right.
And it's going to tarnish your built reputation.
Right.
The idea that you have taken the time to build and to develop to represent yourself.
Yeah.
You have to know what your values are, what it is that you truly believe in. You need to
Right.
apply that. You need to
Mhm.
apply it properly.
Right.
It's even worse if you represent an organization.
Yeah.
Or if you work for an organization, people know that.
Yeah.
You're representing them every time you post anything online. You gotta know
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, you come from a business, like your business background, or you're
Yeah.
going for a degree in business. You represent the company that you stand with.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
100% all the time. Whether you're online, whether you're on your lunch break, whether
Yeah.
you're on vacation in a neighboring city,
Mhm.
you at all times represent that company, because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
even if it's a personal aspect or personal thing that you did,
Yeah.
people are always going to link it back.
Yeah. They're gonna think.
You-
Yeah. You have that connection.
When you're in a professional setting, you represent everything.
Mm-hmm.
The last one's relying on social media. There's too
Mm.
much dependence on it for interaction,
Yeah.
news, updates, everything. And the issue with that is it's actually killed off a lot of communication and interaction skills, as ironic
Right.
as that is.
Yeah.
It keeps you so in touch with people that you can't communicate with people.
Right.
How many
Yeah.
times you walk down the street, you smile at someone, you get like an awkward smile back, and you felt like they had to. Not
Yeah.
just want to.
Yeah.
How often do you say hi to someone and they just walk by, or they
Right.
look at you? Or they say
Right.
like, hey, real quick, without looking at you, and they keep going. Like,
Yeah.
we are so less social than we
Mhm.
ever were.
Right.
Humans
yeah.
are very social beings, but we aren't
Yeah.
like that anymore. We've devolved
Yeah.
thanks to social media.
I feel like part of that is social media. Another thing a big effect that it had on us is it changed our focus from quality to quantity, you know?
100%. 100%.
If you look at, I don't think people will, I think they lost sight of the fact that like our parents, for example, and like every other generation before us didn't have these things. And so it's like they obviously survived because we're here. So I think people forget that sometimes. Like if everybody was like honest with themselves and sat down and was like, if I turned off all my social media for a week or like 2 weeks, a month, who would you still hear from, you know? Like who would you still talk to? Because yeah, it's good to stay connected with people, but you also want to be real with yourself, you know? Because you don't want to, I feel like that's what creates a lot of like fake friendships and relationships, because you'll end up having all of these people that it's so easy to connect to, you know? It's not because you're going out of your way to stay connected to them. It's because it's literally made, it couldn't be easier. Like all you have to do is double tap on their picture and they see that you like them, their picture, and then now they know, oh, this person's still keeping up with me, or this person's still checking my account or whatever, you know? And that's basically you letting that person know just by pressing your finger twice
100%.
that you're still connected with that person, you know? But if you were to turn your social media off for like a month, then only people that have your number and actually want to call you or like thinking about you at some point during their day are actually going to do that, you know? So I feel like,
I completely agree.
yeah, so I feel like that creates a lot of like fake friendships and stuff like that. And that's just going to end up, because if you have all those fake friendships, then maybe I feel like that creates a lot of miscommunication. Because if we're staying connected just on like a regular social media basis, like a message here and there or whatever, then maybe I get the idea that me and you are really close and you're just thinking, oh, this is just like a whatever thing, you know what I mean? So maybe I think we're actually closer than we really are, and then next thing you know, I end up getting hurt over it because of a situation that goes down. Whereas if we didn't really have that mentality that social media created, then you would already know exactly who is really close to you, and it would be
Yeah.
like mutual right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I completely agree. It's insane.
Mhm.
I do want to go back a little bit though. When did you start deactivating your Instagram?
So I did that like a few weeks ago, maybe like 3 weeks ago, a month ago.
So this is very, very recent.
It's very recent, yeah.
So
like,
right before exams.
Yeah, I deactivated it and then I accidentally logged back in because I wanted to see something and then it makes you wait. So yeah, and then I deactivated it again. So yeah, about like 3 weeks ago, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you notice any difference, like in your? I mean, I guess if it's that recent, you're not gonna have like noticed academic differences, but
Mm.
3 weeks ago, you would have still been like preparing for your exams or just starting or whatnot.
Yeah.
Did you notice a difference in studying? Did you notice a difference overall in your life, if you
Mhm.
will, once deactivating Instagram? Because I mean, realistically, I don't think most of us, at least in our age anymore, are really actually browsing Facebook. Do you do that or no?
No, yeah.
Exactly. So you use like Facebook just for Messenger, I assume?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so then other than that, you have Snapchat, but even then, I'm getting the vibe that you don't use it very much.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't check Snapchat that much. Like the thing that I used the most was like Instagram because I
So
would
you
just
killed
scroll
off
through,
your
you know?
big bulk of
Exactly,
social
yeah.
media.
That's what I wanted to do,
Okay.
yeah.
And so then how did that cause a change in your life? Where did you notice the
Honestly,
difference, whether academically, professionally, or
mm,
just in life in general?
yeah. Honestly, like all three of those, like for academically, I just felt like I had a lot more time in the day, which makes sense because of like the stat that you pulled
100%.
out, like
You
the
got
two and
two
a
and
half
a half
hours.
hours more now.
Yeah, like I literally, like as soon as I deactivated it, like my days felt longer. Like it would be like 6 o'clock, and I'm like, wow, I still have half the day left. You know, like it just felt like I had a lot more time than I did before, which is good because then I was able to make a lot more use of it and get a lot more things done. So, for example, at that time it was exams, so I would get a lot more studying done than I would have before. Because I would go sit down or like lie down, and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna take a break, and then I'd go click on Instagram, and then this happened to me like 10, 20 times. I go to try to open the app, and then it's like it shows me that it's deactivated. Like obviously I'm not logged in, so then I end up leaving it. And I'm like, all right, well, there's nothing else to do. So whereas I was about to probably just waste about 30 minutes scrolling, I ended up just going back and studying some more because I realized there was nothing to do. Because the only thing I was going to do was just waste some time scrolling through my feed. So I had a lot more time. That's number one. And then number two, um, yeah, it's only been a short amount of time, like 3 or 4 weeks, but I've actually noticed like a big differences like in my life. Like not obviously like I didn't have like big life changes, but my perspective on things has definitely changed a lot. Like I'm just each day that passes by that I don't have it, I realize like how much like how superficial it was to have Instagram. And I just start to like analyze different people like of my friends, like their reasons for having it. Some people I'm like, okay, this guy has like a pretty small account, like he's only posting these types of things. I get it. Like this makes sense. I could see what his reasoning behind this. And then I see some people's accounts and I see the things that they post and like effort that goes into it and that kind of stuff. And then I'm just like, I wonder if this person's really taking the time to like do some like analysis of themselves and really think about why do you want to post this picture so badly? Like what's the reason? Like why do you want other people to see this? What is it that you like about this? What is it about this that you care about other people seeing? Like what is the purpose behind it? And I feel like 99% of the time people won't have like a valid reason for that. Or they might have a reason, but it's going to be like a sad reason, like something that has to do with trying to get satisfaction from somewhere else to fill a void that maybe we don't have.
I feel like realistically, the only valid reason for going all in, all effort, photo shoot level
Yeah, yeah.
to obtain that kind of content, especially for Instagram, because photography is not an easy job.
No, yeah.
I think the only valid reason really for going that far out would be either one, that this is your job, this is your source of income. You
Yeah.
are an online influencer.
Right,
This is
yeah.
how you put food on your table.
Right.
You need to go through all this. Or the only other situation, I think, of course, unless if you just personally want this for you, you want photos to look good.
Mhm.
But the only other realistic approach, I think, is people trying to get to that point
Mhm.
where they can create an income or a career online in social media.
Mhm.
Because it's definitely a possibility, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a fantastic field.
Mhm.
I'm sure realistically most people that could do it would probably want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I take it back. There's three.
Yeah.
Whether it is your bread and butter,
Yeah.
whether it's what you're trying to make your bread and butter,
Mhm.
or you're doing it strictly for yourself, for your own pleasure. But if
Exactly,
you're going
yeah.
out and you're doing all this work for other people to like just to
Yeah.
get likes on your photo, you're probably not doing it right. And
Exactly,
again,
yeah.
I think that's going to come back down to relying on social media, your
Yeah.
reputation of yourself, and being a distraction. It hits all three big negatives
Yeah.
that social media impacts us with. It's prioritizing the improper things in our life.
Yeah.
We have bigger priorities, and we're just not focusing on them.
Yeah, and that's like I feel like I don't know if it's the people that did this or it's like Instagram, like the creators themselves, like from Facebook and whatever, that tried to push this. But like I said before, there's that whole huge thing of like Instagram is related with like numbers, you know? Like the bigger the number, the better. The more likes you get, the better. The more followers you have, the better. But that totally counteracts like the purpose of it. Like because we're saying pretty much unless you're trying to go viral or something like that, which is a very small percentage of people, then you should only be doing it for yourself. And in that case, then you should only have a small number of followers, you know? Like people have private accounts, pretty much those private accounts should be like your main account, I feel, you know? Like, because realistically, we don't have like 1,000 people that we talk to on a daily basis or that are on a level where we should be showing them like what we're up to and all this stuff. Because I feel like it's good to update people, like your friends. Like it's not like you're gonna see all of your friends. Maybe you live in different cities or something like that. So it's not like you're gonna see them every day, or maybe you don't even have the time to talk to them on the phone every day.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a good tool for that to keep people that you care about updated. But then once it gets to a point where it's like now you have like 800 extra followers that are just people that you don't need to be showing this kind of stuff to, that's where it starts to get like the toxic part, like the toxic aspect, because now it goes from you doing it for yourself or just trying to keep your close ones updated to now you're just trying to kind of like flex, and that's where you can start to get like evil eye and like, you know, like bad energy, and that's like a whole nother conversation. Like because if somebody's, you know, if you have all these people, like 1,000 people following you, for example, 200 of them are people that you've actually like become close to like over your lifetime, you know, maybe some of those people are family and then the rest are just like a bunch of friends, you know, from elementary school up to wherever you are now, you know. And then the other 800 are just people that you've come across, you know, maybe acquaintances or whatever. Some of those people, or most of them, when they see you post like a new car or something like that, they're not going to be happy for you, you know? Mm-hmm. And so maybe that's kind of probably part of the adrenaline rush that people get from posting and stuff like that, you know? Because they're getting that thrill of like kind of showing off a little bit.
You get all those likes, and it's like you're in that like rush. You want all these likes to flood. And I think the nicest thing Instagram's done is that they've taken
away the likes. Yeah, and
not everywhere. It's phasing in.
Yeah.
But people can't see. Only the poster can see their likes, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. And if they think that that's something they needed to do, then obviously that should be like a big message to everybody that uses it, you know, because if they actually thought it was something important enough for them to make a change on, then obviously that means it was a serious issue. And yeah, so I feel like, yeah, pretty much just it's just kind of getting out of hand.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah, man, that was a lot of really good stuff, and I'm like, the fact that we can sit here and talk about it and send this out to so many people to hear this message, realistically, you're not going to hear this.
Yeah.
Or you're going to hear, but you're not going to think about it.
Right.
But you sit down, you take the moment, you actually listen to it, you turn on the podcast while you're driving, and you hear this.
Yeah.
And it goes right in, and you can't miss it.
Yeah.
That is something special to be able to get a message like this out to the audience.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons that I started this podcast.
Right.
I love being able to talk about certain topics that I feel like they need to be addressed. And I'm not bringing in like, I mean, obviously, like I'm small. Like, let's be modest. Let's be realistic. It's a small podcast. It's nothing huge.
Yeah.
I don't have like celebrities or crazy YouTube influencers on this podcast.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about my podcast. It's your everyday person that's here on this topic.
Right. Yeah.
You don't have someone with an agenda. You don't have anyone with like a mission that they're already pushing. It's true people, real people, their real lives.
Yeah.
And this is where they're at. And I love that because it's so genuine.
Facts. Yeah.
Because you don't have an agenda. You don't have any kind of benefit out of being here. You're here to support me, to spread a message that we both believe in.
Yeah.
And we get to share that with so many people. And that's the beauty of it, because at the end of this podcast, you're going to walk out of the studio, and I'm going to go about my day.
Yeah.
This podcast launches on Monday, and we go on to the next one. And, of course, whenever people reach out, we love to talk with them. like 100%. But at the end of the day, like this is it. We don't benefit from this. We're putting out a message that we believe in,
Facts.
and we're sending out into the world for the world to hear it. And I think that is one of the greatest things about my podcast and many other podcasts. And I hope that this is a podcast that will continue to grow and that people will continue to see.
Yeah, hopefully, bro.
Because I truly believe in some of the topics and the messages that we share.
100%.
Do you have any final notes, any final sayings that you want to say? Anything you want to finish off with today?
Nah, man. One thing I would say is just for whoever's hearing this is just, I don't know, take some time to do some self-reflection, you know? Like we don't have a lot of time in our day, you know, everyone's either working or studying or, you know, dealing with whatever they got going on, but like look at the things that you do on your average day and think about what the reasoning is behind each of those things, you know? Like you eat, okay, because you're hungry, you know, you have to eat, you got to do that, stay alive, you got to sleep, you got to do all those things, you know? So when it gets to that point where you're looking at things that you do to pass time, like look at what those things are and what the purpose is and what you're gaining from it, you know? Like when you go to post a picture on Instagram, like I've posted, like I've only done this recently, you know, so I can't act like I've been on this wave for like years or anything, you know. This is something I'm just starting to realize, but for people that maybe haven't realized it yet, like look at the pictures you posted and like think about why, like where you were at in your life when you posted it and why you wanted to post it, what you were looking to gain from posting it, because we don't do things if we don't have anything to gain from it, pretty much, you know. Like if you're not going to post that picture for no reason, you know, because you had to go out of your way to, you know, go take the picture first of all, go onto the app, whatever, upload it. Some people edit their pictures, whatever it is, think of a caption. You obviously did this for some reason. There was some kind of purpose behind it. So try to be honest with yourself about what the purpose is behind the things you do. And, you know, it's never too late to make a change, you know. For me, I got rid of Instagram first because, like I said, that turned into a big numbers game, like quantity, followers, likes, whatever. Whereas Snapchat, I still have it for now for a little bit because that has less of a numbers mentality. Like it's okay on Snapchat. Nobody asks you how many followers do you have, or nobody can see even how many followers you have on Snapchat, I think, like unless they go on your phone. So like they could see your snap score, like how many, like what your score is, but nobody really cares about that, you know. It doesn't really mean anything because you could have 1,000 followers on Snapchat, but maybe you just don't talk to any of them. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter what your score is. So that's why I have Snapchat still, because that's less of a numbers game. So I only have like a small amount of people that I have on Snapchat, so it's kind of still meant for its purpose. Like if I post something, it's something personal that like only people that I'm like that I actually talk to can see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's all I would say to you guys.
All right, then with that, I think I want to go back and I want to finish with that quote. Share to the people, but share for yourself.
Yep.
Evaluate what you're posting. Evaluate what you're doing online. Make sure that you're not wasting your time, that you're not trying to impress people that don't care about you.
Facts.
Take your time. Be productive with it. Be efficient with it. Use it to progress in your academic and professional careers. Make the most out of your life. Don't let social media be the thing that holds you back. If you can use it responsibly, use it for sure. Enjoy it. Love every moment of it. If you can't use it responsibly, try to, or cut it out if you need to. And like you said, yeah, think about like everything that you're posting. So if you got to go back and reevaluate your old posts, if some of those got to go down, take them down.
Take it down.
Make sure that your online presence reflects who you are.
Facts.
Your reputation and who you believe that you should be.
Go through your followers. Maybe you have like 1,000 extra people following you that you don't even remember who they are, you know? It's okay to go through and cut those numbers down, you know? So it gets down to a level where you feel like it is more personal and now it actually is being used for its right purpose, you know, instead of being a numbers game. So maybe like you said, if you have to go through, evaluate some of those old posts, go through and evaluate some of those old followers too, you know? Maybe it's somebody that you haven't talked to in 8 years and that you're probably not going to talk to for another 8 years. So you probably don't need to be following them.
Yeah.
And they probably don't need to be following you either.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's the best way to finish this off.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show. Again, I am
Thank you.
More than thrilled, more than honored to have you on the show. I've been wanting you on the show since the moment that I thought about starting my own podcast.
Thank you.
I know I only reached out to you recently because you were in the area, but the moment that I started this, I knew you were going to be someone that's going to come on here. You're going to share a lot of wisdom. You're going to drop a lot of truth, and it was a fantastic conversation with you.
For sure.
For those of you listening, if you are on YouTube, Make sure to like and subscribe. If you
Yep.
do want a audio only version, we are currently on Spotify. We will be on Apple Podcasts soon. So if you do have Spotify, go ahead and follow the podcast on there. If you are on Spotify and you want to see the visuals, or even if you just want to see clips, because we're going to start posting clips, that'll be available on YouTube as well. So, but again, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you spending the last little bit over half an hour with us today. It was a fantastic conversation. We dropped a lot of good information.
Yeah.
I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah.
Ehab, thank you for being here again.
Thank you,
people
bro.
listening. Thank you for sharing your time.
Yeah. Oh, make sure to follow me on all social. Just kidding. I'm probably all gonna be deleted soon. So yeah, don't look for me. Don't follow me. Don't do any of that.
Reach out to the podcast if you're trying to get a
Yeah.
hold
Follow.
of,
Don't follow me. Follow the podcast.
Follow the podcast if you want to get a hold of Ehab. If you guys want Ehab back on the podcast, I would love to have him back on. Go ahead, send us a message online. Let us know that you want Ehab back on the show, and we will do everything that we can to get him back on as soon as possible.
Yes, sir.
All right, everyone, take care. Bye. And share to the people, but share for yourself.